right, so we're in section 8.5 and we're going to be adding and subtracting rational expressions. In order to add or subtract, we need to make sure we have like denominators. Okay, so once we have like denominators, then we could add or subtract the numerators and place over that common denominator. So let's look at this first one. Here I have 7 over 4x plus 3 over 4x. 4x and 4x are already the same denominator, so I can keep that same denominator and add my numerators together. And in this case, I can put 7 plus 3, which is 10. Let's do this next one. Again, they have the same common denominator. So I can add 7 plus 5, which is 12. But in this case, I can reduce 12 over 12 would be 1 over x. If you just want to kind of look through some more. Just taking you through step by step when you have that same common denominator, what you can get out. And don't forget, you can always factor. So if they do not have the same denominator, then I'm going to have to find a common denominator. I'm going to rewrite each expression using the common denominator and add or subtract. So let's look if these guys were in the denominators. What's that least common multiple for the two of them? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor each of these and see what they have in common and what they still need. So here I can take out a 4, the GCF. And now I have a difference of 2 squares. So there's that one factored. So I'm going to take out my GCF here. And now I'm going to use the AC method. My A is 1, so I can put those values right in. -2 and -2. So my least common multiple, well, let's see what they have in common. So 6 and 4, what's the least common multiple for 6 and 4? So 6 goes 6, 12, 18, 24. 4 goes 4, 8, 12. So I found their least common multiple would be 12. So I've taken care of those guys. They share an x minus 2, so I can put that in. And then I also need to put in what they don't have separately. So if only one has it, then I put it in separately, whereas they both had the x minus 2, so I only put it in there once. So my least common multiple is 12, x minus 2 squared times x plus 2. So let's see how that helps me. I want to add these two together. So I'm going to go and factor the right-hand denominator. And let's see if we can find out what would be the least common denominator. What's going on here? So least common denominator, I would need a 9, an x squared, and an x plus 1. So I need to make sure that the denominators both have these in there. So what do I need to do on this right-hand side, or sorry, left-hand side, is I need to multiply top and bottom by x plus 1, because I need an x plus 1 in the denominator, and in order to keep it equivalent, I also have to do x plus 1 in the numerator, because that's just like multiplying by 1. And then over here, this guy, he just needs, let's see, a 3 and an x. So now let's multiply those together and we can add. I'll just put this in standard form. And there you go. Okay, let's do this next one. It's a subtraction. So again, I'm going to factor. So the first one I did the GC method, and now I'm doing the AC method. So here, my least common denominator, I would need a 2, an x minus 1 from both of them, and an x minus 3. So I'm going to have to multiply the left-hand side, it looks like, by x minus 3. And the right-hand side, it needs 2. So I'm going to FOIL over on the left. Just distribute my negative 2 on the right. And I used parentheses so I don't forget to also distribute that negative to everything. And now I have it over a common denominator. And you can just leave that denominator factored. There's no reason that you need to put it all together. You actually want to see if you can factor the numerator anymore. So if that's possible, sorry, that was a plus. So let's see, do two things, multiply to negative 4 and add to 3. So I could do 4 and negative 1. And now I can say these guys will cancel. And there's my reduced answer. All right, see if you can find the least common multiple of these two. Also see if you can find the least common multiple of those two. You're going to check these with your group members. Then I want you to do 7, 8, 9, and 10 again with your group members. So try this on your own and then we'll come to class and check. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is simplify complex fractions. So a complex fraction is a fraction that contains another fraction either in its numerator or denominator or both. So to simplify complex fractions, there are two different methods that you can do. You can simplify the numerator and denominator by writing each as a single fraction and then divide the numerator by the denominator, which then you would just multiply by the reciprocal. Or you could do method 2, which is to multiply the numerator and denominator by the least common denominator of every fraction in the numerator and denominator, then simplify. I'm going to be showing you method 2. Alright, so let f be the focal length of a thin camera lens, p be the distance between an object being photographed and the lens, and q be the distance between the lens and the film. For the photographer to be in focus, for the photograph to be in focus, the variable should satisfy the lens equation below. Simplify this complex fraction. So let's go through and look at all the denominators. So the denominator here is just 1 because you don't have to show a division by 1. This denominator is p, and this denominator is q. So my least common denominator would be pq. So now I'm going to go through and multiply by pq over pq to both the numerator and denominator that pq goes to, because that's just the same as multiplying by 1. So 1 times pq is pq. Here I have to distribute. And now I can reduce. And now I have it just as one fraction. There's no fraction inside a fraction, so we have simplified this. And there's nothing else I could factor out or cancel any of the factors. All right, let's look at this guy. So let's first find our least common denominator. So all my denominators are x plus 4, and x. So my least common denominator would be x times x plus 4. So that's what I'm going to go multiply top and bottom by, is x times x plus 4 over x times x plus 4. And again, I'm multiplying it into the numerators. So here I'm just multiplying to all the numerators. And now I can reduce. So simplify that denominator now. There you go. So what about this one? What would be your least common denominator? Between 6, 3, 5, and 10. So I'm actually going to start with my 3 and work my way up. So it'd be 3, 6, 9. So far, no. 5 doesn't divide into any of those. 12, 15. Nope, 6 doesn't divide into that. 18, 21. Keep going up. Let's see. 24, still no. 27. Ooh, what about 30? Do all of these guys divide into 30? They do. So 30 would be your least common denominator. See if you can finish it from there. So on this guy, the first thing I would need to do is write this over 1. So see if you can find your least common denominator. And I got x. See if you can finish this one. And what would you have for your least common denominator here? I got x minus 3 times x plus 5. See if you can now finish that one. I'll see you in class tomorrow. Have a good night.